All right, y'all, it's Tuesday. All of my supplies look like they've come in for doing my battery relocation to the trunk. It looks like I may have forgotten to bring out a box. I actually have some bus bars here somewhere. I have to go back in and check for them, but I've picked me up a crimper and a cutter for the big heavy gauge wire, 300 amp circuit breaker. Of course, I got the ends. I got 20 foot of zero gauge wire, 20 foot of zero gauge in black. I got some wrap for it. Got me a battery box. Now that came in and it was a lot bigger than I was expecting, so I'm gonna have to see if it's gonna fit. May not end up getting that installed today, but I'm gonna head out there and get started running that wire and see how far I get today. All right, y'all, last night actually got a little bit too dark for me to show it all I got done last night. I still got more to do today, but I got the bus bar installed, mounted up down here, and I've hooked the battery cable from the main harness that used to go to the positive terminal and the little accessory plug up to two of these lugs. And I got my big wire down here. You'll see it's got a little bit of red on it. I wrapped it with some extra protection. I've run it through all the way back to the trunk to the battery. Came out this hole. I've installed riv nuts and P-clips to hold it up tight here under where the fender goes. Brought it back. I ran it down through the door grommet here with its power wire. Brought in down here near where the ECU used to mount. Ran it down along under the carpet here through the trim, underneath the seat mounts. You can see it popping out back here again, going up. I'm going to eventually get that tucked in underneath here, along with my other wires. And I'll be finished up there. Came all the way to the back here. I'm going to end up shortening the wire. I decided I don't want to use this big old battery box that I bought. I didn't expect it to be that large, and it's considerably larger than my actual battery. So I'm going to get something different before I actually mount the battery down. But the power wire comes in back there. I'm going to end up running it underneath this. I'll pull this back off and run it underneath all the way back here. I welded on a bolt here into this thick section down here in this corner to use as my chassis ground. And I installed me a manual 300 amp breaker, which I currently have switched off because I'm doing more work, but I switched on. You should be able to see that light come on and everything power up. There we go. So that's a nice handy dandy feature. I know I could have just gotten a cheap fusible link, probably 200 amp, and that'd have been all right, but well, if I have any whoopsies, I want to be able to reset it and not be stranded and needing a big old fuse. But today I want to tackle dealing with this jumbled mess of inline fuses and relays I have in here, from the wideband O2, the amplifier, and all the other accessories I've got running the car currently. Because I've also got some new circuits to add. I gotta add the boost controller and an oil pressure gauge. And so I want to get all that cleaned up. So I got me this accessory fuse box I'm going to end up wiring in. I haven't decided where I'm going to mount it to yet, but I was thinking about putting it tucked right up in over here. So this will be for all my little accessories, the O2 sensor and the boost gauge and controller and all that stuff. I've got 6 circuits to work with, relayed from the battery. And I had to take, of course, this whole cover apart so I could see. It'd been a while since I looked at this last time. And it looks like the gray wire is going to be ground, and then for each of the relays I have 2 matching colored wires. The fat wire is going to be for the battery power for the accessory, and the yellow wire is going to be the trigger signal for the relay to switch it on. So that's going to make wiring this up a whole lot simpler and easier. I'll just have to extend out this bundle of wires here and run it down here to my my power block that I've installed. And of course I'll have to put the little gray wire here to a ground. That's for the signal for when the relays are tripped. That's how they'll ground out. But that's what I got to try and get done tonight, is figure out where I'm going to get that mounted and get power wire running over to my bus bar and get it grounded, and then I'll start going through the process of transferring over what I know I have here. I know I got the wideband controller, and I think probably something for the Mega Squirt ECU in that bundle of relays. And later on I'm going to be adding at least 2 more. I've got the AM boost controller to add, and the oil pressure gauge I've got that I want to be running. And it should leave me with 2 extra circuits that I can use later on for other accessories. So I'm going to get to it. Be back with you after a bit. Alright, y'all, it's starting to get a little dark, so I figured I'd go ahead and give you a little update on the progress. So I got the fuse box mounted up here. I had to use my Dremel and a burr to make the holes, and then I just put bolts through from the back side, since I can get to them back there through the strut tower. Put an extra nut on this one to make it like a stud, because it's a little hard to work with. I attached the signal ground from this fuse box right there, because that's a good grounding point. And I went and just put some random fuses in here now so I can test the outputs of each of them, just to make sure they're clicking like they're supposed to. I'm going to try to show you this. Can't really do it one hand. Maybe you can hear me just tap this white one and hear the relay clicking. I don't know which circuit it's for yet, but I'll figure it out. These didn't come labeled, but let me set y'all down for a moment here. See if I can get you in a position where you can see this or not. I'm gonna just stuff this here in the white wire. Maybe that'll hold it. I'm gonna point y'all at the multimeter while I tap this so you can see the power activating, or full battery power. All right. Now I'm going to end up going through and checking which color wire corresponds to which fuse slot and which relay. And I'll get the wires labeled so I can label the box top when I'm all said and done, and I'll know which ones go to which accessory. But so far it's working. It's all ready to have the circuits transferred over to it. It's powered up. You'll have to excuse this ugly lump here. This is temporary. I did not have a barrel connector this size, so for now I just bolted 2 connectors together and I put some tape over it, and this temporarily. Tonight when I go in the house, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to order me an isolation post, and I'll mount it right around here somewhere, and I'll just bolt these together like this. And I think I'm going to put me a longer piece of wire in. I already had this one made up and I just used it to test with, but I want this to wrap around all the way back into here and tuck, going down to the bus bar, so it just won't be in the way. And I'll probably put some more wrap on it and use P-clips again to just make it nice and tidy, or I might even loop it underneath and run it around the back, bring it out here and run it along the frame rail here, just like I did the main power wire, if I have enough room here under the fender to do that. Don't know yet, we'll see. But she's powered up, and I'm about to start cleaning up my mess, because it looks like it's fixing to rain again, and it's getting dark. So bring y'all back again tomorrow. I'm gonna be glad once I get all this wiring done, because up next I have 2 large sheets of reflective heat wrap, or heat tape, capped on the gold stuff, and I'm going to cover the entire, at least most of the transmission tunnel, the firewall, with that. And I might even do parts of the strut towers here, and I'm going to make some heat shields for all this stuff I have over here, because when the turbo's in here, none of this stuff likes heat. You don't want your master cylinder boiling up, you don't want your coil getting hot, or the igniter chip. So I kind of moved all those over here from their factory positions, and I'm going to put a heat shield right up here with a little bit of an air gap, just to keep the heat from the turbo and the exhaust manifold off of them. And I think I'm going to do the same thing for the plug wires on the engine itself. I have an old grill with some nice stainless steel panels I can cut up and use that to make my heat shields. Alright y'all, it's Sunday. Hadn't recorded much this week because we had some rain, and well, I couldn't do any really more wiring on the car yet. So I've been out here working on getting the engine ready to put back in. Since my parts arrived, I got the oil lines all hooked up for the turbo, drain and feed. Got turbo mounted up, manifolds on there. Started working on my coolant lines and realized I got to pick up some more hose clamps. Got the motor mounts all hooked up. I ain't tightened everything there down yet, but it's coming together. After I get my hose clamps later on this evening, I'm going to try and go through and get the transmission taken off the old motor and get this one swinging and get the pilot bearing bushing installed and get the transmission mounted up to it, and then go about cleaning up the garage and moving stuff around again so I can get the car back in here. My post still hasn't arrived yet for that battery terminal there. I went ahead and got some heat wrap put on the firewall there. Like I said, I still got to make a heat shield there and one for the plug wires on the engine. And I got to get all this wiring done up. But I can work on that wiring with the engine sitting in the car, because once I get the engine in, it's going to be time to start cutting up this front end here to install the intercooler. But figure I'd do a quick update while I still had some daylight out today. Show you what all I've gotten accomplished. All right, Joe. Whew, that was a lot of work for today. But now you can't see it out there, but I got the well, put some of that heat wrap on the firewall out there. Went ahead and got the transmission all cleaned up. Got it bolted up. It's ready to put in. There ain't nothing else for me to do to the engine and transmission. It's ready to put in the car, so. Whew. Probably day after tomorrow, I'm going to come out and get the garage all cleaned up here. Get the laser and everything moved so I can pull the car back in and get it up on the lift and get this dropped in it. I figure I can do the rest of the wiring once it's sitting in there. And then I can work on it here in the garage instead of having to deal with it out there in the rain and all, when it does rain. Once it's in, I got a few more things to do. I'm going to have to probably cut up the bumper a little bit, get the intercooler piping and everything fitting. Get the new exhaust downpipe for the turbo on there and drop down. But everything's all plumbed up here and ready to go. So I'll catch back up with y'all later. I'm excited. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.